attitude. I think we would be better off.
I would change, well, maybe not the world, but America. So I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but I'd change, like, our general intolerance for change. Basically just changes involving tolerance, and I'd like it if we were a little bit more patient, because we have a really short-term memory in America.
Something I would change would probably be the way the government is run. It's corrupt in a way, and no matter who you elect in, it's always going to be corrupt.
Oh, okay, about the world, I would change the fact that America gets to bomb the shit out of other countries and no one seems to say anything about it. So yeah, I would change American hegemony. And I'm not sure if that's actually how you pronounce the word. Oh yeah, and gay people could marry in the States too, because it's a civil right. I'd love to see people just recycle and not buy SUVs.
Well, I guess I would probably change the high taxes. I don't know really much about myself. Perhaps I would become a more understanding individual.
Nobody's allowed to borrow any money. All the way around, it'd be just great. Change the world. Governments wouldn't be able to go into debt, and people wouldn't be able to either. That'd work.
Probably the level of apathy we have towards each other and towards progression. We have the idea that we need to save money, and therefore we are working towards ourselves more, going back instead of moving forward by helping other people.
Try to be nice and try to help people in the world. There are a lot of people need a lot of help, so as we can help them.
What I would change in the world probably, definitely would want to fix this whole economy crisis thing. I mean, just to see people in poverty and everything like that, it's just horrible.
Well, about myself, I'd probably change to be more confident around people, more outgoing than what I am. And about the world, probably right now just the economy, because it's so terrible. And like war and stuff like that. The most cliche answer you could think of, but it's true.
For me, I can just work more, save more money, try to do like the homeless person, take care of them. So that will be like a great change for the world, to take care of the poor and handicapped and senior people.
About myself, I would try to be more patient, and about the world would be all the hardships, the lack of jobs and the lack of money, and I feel terrible for the unemployed people, especially the single mothers who have kids and barely make ends meet. I have a lot of friends who are in that situation, who've had to rely on the system now who never had to. So I would, I guess if I could snap my fingers, I'd make jobs appear and money and get everybody to a level playing field.
Well, the fact that I tend to live in the past sometimes. I'm unemployed right now, and I need some hope.
The whole idea that in Buddhism there's no feeling of self-hatred, and I think a lot of the problems that happen in different phases of life is because we don't love ourselves first and then feel that way towards others. I'm thinking of this in the whole healthcare situation, where it's become, like I won't do this because you won't do that, when the whole thing is we are all the people who have no health care. We are the people who are hurting, but we see that us and others, and until we can figure out that we're all in this together, which oddly enough is why we founded the country.
Right.
I think we're in a world of hurt, and we really need to let go of ego and come more towards the things that we have in common.
The main thing I would change about the world today is our I guess, having magnitude toward finer dualities, polarities, and finding the fine line that separates the two, like between masculine, feminine, and what we as a culture define as, masculine, feminine, good, evil, that kind of thing. Because I think that causes the most strife and conflict within all arenas of life. So I think that's the main thing I would change.
Yeah.
Finding that fine line that separates two extremes.
no more evil, that the world would all believe in Jesus Christ, and that evil would be gone.
Easy. I would go back, if I could go back to a young man, I would be a faithful follower of Jesus Christ. And the one thing I would change about the world, I would just ask that everybody stop and listen to the true gospel of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ died on the cross so they could be forgiven of their sins. And I would pray that they would just stop and listen. That would be my hope for humanity.
The thing I would change about myself was I would be more independent. In the world, I would do away with religion, because I think it's a lot of our problems, you know. You always have the fanatics, you know, so, and they just take it to the extreme, their beliefs, and I think it causes a lot of trouble, you know.
One thing for both would be religious tolerance. Like, if you look at most of the problems in the world right now, at least one of their root causes would be religion.
I'd probably have more people just be united under whatever faith they have, whether it be, you know, God or Allah or just whatever spirit and energy they have. Just that we could feel more one together, more like together in that respect. People would understand love better. They would treat each other more like brothers and sisters and just more of a community together as a whole. They wouldn't be so antagonistic if they knew that more love and care was out there for them.
I think if the world at large could embrace the teachings of religions like Hindu or Catholicism or whatever, where we're trying to help each other be better, so many of the rules, regulations, the conflicts,